foundation, but I just think you're not going to stop.
The turnover of TikTok in Europe is over £1 billion a year.
Yeah.
£13 million.
Yeah,
Peanuts.
exactly. It's not enough, right? A 21-year-old man has avoided jail after raping a 13-year-old girl when he was 17. Instead of a prison sentence, the judge handed Sean Hogg 270 hours community service, in line with new guidelines in Scotland recommending that under-25s aren't sent to prison.
There's predictably and rightly been outrage online. J.K. Rowling, one of my great heroes, she has said, wading in on Twitter, but we're going to get a legal perspective on this from Thomas Leonard Ross, KC, in Scotland. Good morning, Thomas. People won't understand why it's... if you're 17 and you rape someone, you don't have to go to prison, but if you're 21, you do. I don't get it. Can you explain why the law is different in Scotland?
The law isn't different. The reference is to a sentencing guideline, right, which requires the judge to take account of the age of an offender who's under the age of 25. It certainly doesn't say that somebody under 25 cannot be sent to prison. That's not a requirement, and actually 99.9% of people under 25 who commit the offence of rape are sent to prison. So this is not a typical disposal. In fact, it's quite the opposite.
Are there special circumstances, perhaps, in why the judge reached this conclusion, which has outraged people like J.K. Rowling, who we know has been campaigning on women's rights for a long time in Scotland?
Well, we don't have sometimes the judges put a full statement of reasons on the judicial website. We don't have that here, but the judge did focus on the question of rehabilitation. The guideline under consideration requires that in the case of somebody under 25, rehabilitation is what they call a primary consideration. And the judge has said that having considered the question of rehabilitation, he didn't think that prison would contribute to rehabilitation. So that's the judge's justification for the sentence that he chose.
And J.K. Rowling's tweet there, I thought, was incredibly painful. It's like basically the message seems to be, if you're under the age of 25, first time free, you can get away with it. What does Scotland have against women at the moment?
I mean, I'm not on to justify the sentence. I'm simply explaining the background to it. But it is important to realise that, I've been involved in over 1,000 High Court cases. I only know of 3 other cases where the individual avoided a sentence for rape. The judge himself in this case said that had he been a fully mature adult, then the sentence would have been 4 or 5 years imprisonment, and that's very much the typical sentence that is imposed. So I understand the public dismay. There are other sentencing objectives, including punishment, including deterring other people from doing the same thing, communicating society's disapproval of offending, and people think that none of those factors have found their way into this sentence. So I understand that there are issues concerning protection of women, and that this is another example where women are entitled to feel perhaps that they've been let down.
Indeed, there you go. Thanks. That's Thomas Leonard Ross, KC in Scotland. Now, still to come, we're going to bring you the latest from Scotland, where this extraordinary story